And we're back for another episode of Startup Hustle. Matt DeCourcy here with Matt Watson with a special edition of Startup Hustle. Matt, how have you been, man?
Working, man, just working. Been recounting all the votes.
Are you glad to be? Are you glad? Well, and that's what we're going to get into because well, first off, welcome back. I'm glad to have you. I'm glad. Do you remember how to do this?
Yes.
Okay, so look straight to the camera, talk to the microphone, and hope for the best. That's been the plan all along, right? Now, we're going to do it. We got a special edition about the polls that we've been doing in the Startup Hustle chat. But before we get started, Matt, there's something I need to tell you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, as you know, as a small business owner, paying and taking care of your team can be tough, especially now. So that's why Ousto built easy-to-use payroll, benefits, onboarding, and HR tools. Now, even better, our listeners get 3 months free at gusto.com/startup hustle when you do their payroll. It's, once again, gusto.com/hustle. There's a link in the show notes. So, yeah. Did you know all that?
No. I've heard of Ousto before.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I hate doing payroll, so that would be awesome.
We're gonna discuss how the public feels about that. But yeah, and did you hear we started a TV show?
I did hear that.
Yeah, you're gonna be in it.
Are you still gonna make me do stupid shit and laugh at me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hang on, I'm looking at the character description. Matt Watson. Yeah, and some other things too.
That's fine.
You might want to get in shape.
I might want to get insurance.
That wouldn't hurt either. So, well, Matt, there's a couple things about today. So, as you're aware, because you participate in it, Startup Hustle has a chat community where we talk with not only the hosts of the show, sometimes the guests, but the people. And we are representing the people today with our very non-scientific polling. And because I care about what you and everybody else have to say, and I'm curious about where the people are and how they've spoken, I've been administering polls. Now, with that, are you aware of the results, Mr. Watson? Have you seen the results ahead of time?
No, I've taken a few of these polls, though, so I've contributed to them.
I know you're usually the one arguing in the comments about. No, that's not true.
Did you certify the results of these polls?
Yeah, and in some cases where they're close, I'm suing the chat community to stop the count or to recount, whichever works in my favor. So, yeah, I'm positive we're going to count the votes today. Now, look, the easiest way for me to do this is to go sequentially down the road now, which is going to give us a kind of a funny topic. So a couple of our guests, I actually had asked for a suggested title for this live stream, and you can watch us record episodes of Startup Hustle now through either the Startup Hustle page or Startup Hustle chat. But I was asking our amazing community of entrepreneurs what we should talk about, and it's somehow a debate ignited over whether, when it comes to eating chicken wings, whether you should eat drums or flats. Which, first off, I didn't even know what flats were until recently. And, so apparently that's a hot topic. So first off, are you for drums or flats?
I'm for both, and I definitely like the chicken wing song. I'm addicted to the chicken wing song for sure.
Okay, what's the chicken wing song, and will you sing it?
Chicken wing, hot dog and bologna. That song, you don't know that one?
No, can you sing it one more time?
Oh, no, you just get it once.
So once again, if you want to see, Matt actually did a chicken-like dance, which you can find anywhere this video is found. So, well, that's good to know. But where's your vote, Matt? Don't leave a hanging chat here. I'm drums. I'm all for drums.
I'm going with the flats.
Drums or flats?
Flats.
So in that we had 18 votes for drums and 19 for flats. Now that poll is definitely still open. So it's 50-50. It's 50-50. Now, okay. So are you surprised with that result? I'm not.
No.
Apparently this is a hotter topic than I thought. So, okay. Now we're going to blaze right through that one because we probably lost half of our viewers and listeners because they're like, what are you guys talking about? All right. So next in here, now I put this one up this morning because I was curious. So is a band a startup? I believe it is.
I mean, I think in some ways it is. And I know there was a local accelerator in Kansas City actually invested in a band as a startup in their accelerator.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for third-party people to invest in bands. Now, the people have overwhelmingly spoken on this one, Matt. 26 votes for yes and 1 for no. So overwhelmingly, people feel that a startup is a band. I agree. I think a startup is very much a band. And the reason is if you're doing something unique that doesn't necessarily come with an owner's manual, you have to figure out all the marketing, all the processes, all of that. I mean, that's kind of what a startup does, right?
Well, and a band's got to figure out how to differentiate itself and who their target audience is and how to reach them and
how to fund it,
all that stuff,
how to run it. All of it. Yeah. So, and a lot of people don't know this, but there are people that invest in bands. Like, it's not uncommon for a third-party investor who will provide that upfront capital similar to a startup, and then they want to own 20% of whatever. So yeah, I agree. Bands are startups. Are you surprised with that result?
No, I'm surprised about people investing in bands though. That's kind of
really
weird. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to buy like the Beatles catalog and you make money off licensing that forever or whatever. But to fund like, you know, your buddy's new band and give them 10 grand or like that, I don't know, seems weird. But
I think that it now I did write a book about the music industry, so I may know a couple things here, but it's largely, you know, if you want to go out on tour, like you want to go pull off a big tour and all that, like most of the equipment is leased. You got to get trucks, like a lot of that. So it does require a lot of capital up front. And, you know, that's a major form of it that has a lot to do with it. So, and then honestly, sometimes it's just rich people that like are passionate about the band and want to help them out and maybe get some access and stuff like that. Okay. Next. If you regularly listen to podcasts, how many different shows do you listen to? What's your guess here for regular podcast listeners? So you get to choose. You've got one, which we were hoping for one and only this one, but we get it. This is where we find out our listeners have been cheating on us, by the way. You get 2 to 3, 4 to 5, or 5+.
I'm going to go with. I'm going 4 to 5. Are you Steve Harvey now? Is this like Family Feud?
Yes.
I'm going 4 to 5.
No one voted for 4 to 5.
Oh my God.
The overwhelming with a landslide victory is 2 to 3. 15 said 2 to 3. 5 people said 5+, and 2 said 1. So, and one of which is Stephen Ford from Penco, because he's finally made it to June of 2020. Stephen has listened to every episode of Startup. You're the man, Steven. And I need some more pens too, if we can get some, because go Penco. Awesome.
Hey, check it out. Here's mine right here.
There it is. Well, hold it. Where's the jewel?
There it is, right there.
Really hold the jewel up for the camera for those watching. Because look at that, man. It's at least
gives you a diamond on a pin. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Penco. Thanks. By the way, so at our old office one day, a package showed up, and it was from Steven. And it had an amazing note thanking us for what we were doing. Said he'd been a listener. He wanted us to have some of what he sells, which is pens, and they're awesome. So, okay.
How many podcasts do you listen to?
None.
Same with me, 0.
Yeah. By the way, so as you're aware, the most popular subject that I get to talk about with the public when I'm out in public is the podcast. And people ask me all the time, they say, well, what podcast do you like? I'm like, I don't listen to my own. I mean, I do occasionally, like more in like a game tape kind of way. I listen to Andrew and Lauren's shows more than mine because I know what happened on mine. And I just don't like the sound of my own voice. It's aggravating. I'm sure lots of listeners feel that way. So, okay, Matt, so I have a question for you related to this next one. We're going to take a different approach here. Okay. Which social media platform is the most important at your business? And once again, Matt's other business that he actually works at, unlike the podcast, is Stackify, stackify.com. Check it out. Which one's the most important?
It would probably be Stack Overflow, and that's not even on your list.
That is not a social media platform.
I mean, it kind of is.
Oh my God.
Okay.
How is that social media?
I mean, developers get on there and say they're smart and trying to answer
you know what?
people.
I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow it because you're right. They are sometimes social. They are interacting with each other on open form questions. Now, how many times have you posted a picture of your dinner or your children in Stack Overflow?
None.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Twitter. I'm gonna go with Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
No votes. No votes for Twitter. None.
Right.
So I'm not surprised with this, but I felt like LinkedIn could have been the top candidate here. Okay, which was my vote. My vote because I use LinkedIn for recruiting and different stuff that is helpful. Facebook has run away with 18 votes, 12 for LinkedIn, 4 for the gram, 1 for TikTok, and good old Michael Edgar has added WeChat. I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah, LinkedIn is really good for my industry too. Yeah, LinkedIn's really good.
But Facebook's the candidate. Facebook is taking the Electoral College on that one. So
only if Facebook approves your post, I guess.
Yeah, and be careful what you say about this podcast because I heard they'll throw you off of it. So, okay. Next. All right. If you had the chance, would you participate in a startup accelerator? Now I put parens here. I said, I know there's variables. So just in general.
I would say yes, for sure.
Okay. Somehow I just switched our spots on the live stream. Did you notice that? I have no idea how I did that at all. So wow, that was interesting. So Matt, you're going to be on the left side or the right side, depending on how you're looking at it, because I'm not even sure how this comes out at the end. I clearly
Does that mean
know
I'm winning the poll now? I'm in first place now.
That?
You got bumped.
Hit the mute button. I hit the mute button. So yeah, all right. Well, if I had to do that again, I couldn't. Okay. So all right. So if you had the chance, well, first let's talk about. Have you ever gone through an accelerator at any point?
No, I've been a mentor a couple times, but never been in one myself.
So I've participated with cohort advisor kind of thing. I think you and I have actually done things where we have interacted with different people in accelerators and all that. So okay, so we had 38 total votes here. What do you? How do you think the voting skewed here?
It's got to be yes.
36-2 in favor of yes. Now, we did have some people had made a few comments here. It was depending on the equity take or whatever, but it wasn't intended to be like that. I just meant in general. So, I mean, overall, it's like someone said, sure, if it's Y Combinator or Techstars. I realized it was a pretty general question. So, speaking of Techstars,
for sure. I mean, it's like the difference of going to Harvard or the local community college, right? I get it, depending on what accelerator you're in.
So I went to 5 colleges. Does that count?
That did not help you.
It really didn't. I mean, well, it did. Actually, it did. A couple of them. One of them I went to. I feel was easier than the high school I had graduated from. I couldn't even get through that one. So. Yeah. Do you think so? Well, let's talk about this a little bit because there's some things here. There's a difference between an accelerator and an incubator, right?
I
think there is. They commonly get confused with each other. So an incubator is something that kind of takes you in on a near seed or really early stage round, and so an incubator makes an investment in you. They have that vested interest. They're incubating your egg or whatever, where the accelerator is more commonly referred to businesses that already exist and have traction.
Okay.
Or are close to gaining it. So yeah. And honestly, man, at 45 years old and having been around this for a while, I hadn't actually defined that until this year. I kind of bundled them in the same. So yeah, there's a big difference. And yeah, have you ever had it laid out like that?
No, it makes total sense when you say it, though.
Right. Most things do.
when you say that,
don't they? Yeah, sure. Yeah, no one is right more than I am when it comes to my own perspective. So, yeah, and now you know what, Matt? There is something to keep in perspective, though, and I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it because we'll get there. All right, next. Are you surprised by any results so far?
No.
Okay.
Just the one guy who we asked about the wings, and he said boneless.
That was Andy Callenbach, and it was our friend over at Lending Standard, which, by the way, I knew he was going to say that. I even said in the description, I'm not including boneless to upset Andy, who then in the comments, by the way, said he now hates both candidates and is only going to vote for the least worst option. I mean, wow.
There's always that one guy.
Thank you, Andy. Hey, look, you being a pain in the ass resulted in your shout out on the show.
Yeah.
So lendingstandard.com, where they vote for and go with the least of the worst candidates. 70% of the time, it works every time. All right. Matt, how do you handle, and I know the answer, so don't tell me I know the answer, but how do you handle and manage marketing at your own business? Their options are you do it yourself, or with the help of contractors or firms. Marketing, what's that? We use a marketing firm or contractors, and then we don't do much of any type of marketing.
I think the answer to this depends a lot on the industry you're in and the phase that your business is in, right? I mean, if you're
what's your answer? I want your answer. I want your perspective and vote.
It's a mix, actually. It's some in-house and some, external people that also help. So it's both.
Right. Now at Full Scale, which is the business Matt and I own together, amongst the other things that some own together and some don't. We technically do it all ourselves, right? Like, because we use the Full Scale team for that and the podcast. Now we do it ourselves. It wasn't Runaway. We had a lot of votes on this one, so we do it ourselves. One with 25 votes. Ourself and contractors/firms was 19 votes. Marketing, what's that? Got 2 votes. And we use a firm or contractors only, had 1 single vote. So kind of proving that the entrepreneurs I mean, and I think marketing, it depends. Like, I could challenge that question in a number of different ways, but okay. You ready for potential controversy?
Ooh, yes.
I'm overselling this because it's not that controversial, but I put this one up on November 7th, which was, I believe, the day after the election. I said, what effect do you think the election will have on your business over the next 4 years? What's your personal expectation? Yeah, sure.
For my business, probably none.
Well, for our business, I feel the same. Just because, like, I think that shit's going to happen regardless, and we're going to be along for the ride. I'm not necessarily sure the election affected it. So, what do you think the people said? You have positive, negative, or none?
I'm gonna guess most people said none.
Most people were positive about the outcome. I like to think that entrepreneurs in general have positive outlooks. I think that may have had 24 votes for positive, Matt, 10 for negative, and 4 for none.
Yeah, I think it depends on the industry. I mean, it depends on the industry you're in, right? Certain industries do better or worse depending on who the president is. So,
yeah, I think overall, unless you're in something that is greatly affected by, like, policy or potential government contracting, I think that would have, some of it. I think that it could affect things like, if your business if you're a government contractor and you depend on, like, who, what, where, and when people spend money and how. But yeah, overwhelmingly, that people felt good about that. So. Okay. This next one is possibly the most critical question of this episode, Matt. All right.
Ooh.
How many of you have flipped a coin to make a business decision? By the way, to legitimize the how important this was, I had to put in friends. I promise this is research for the podcast. So, have you ever flipped a coin to make a business decision?
No, I don't think so.
I have. Because sometimes you just don't know. So might as well flip a coin. I once flipped a coin to see if I was going to continue doing a business. So, all right. What do you think won? What's your guess?
I'm going to say no.
No, overwhelmingly 22 no's, 6 yeses. And yeah, so with a comment from Belinda Wagner, who said, hope isn't a business strategy. It's true. It is not. So, all right, here we go. Have I built up enough suspense about Startup Hustle TV? Are you ready for more details about what, how, and when?
And that had to be a yes. Everybody had to say yes to that.
The answer was yes. And then one person who deserves a shout out said no. That was Rahul Skoyland. And I'm positive I said that incorrectly. But so should I answer what is Startup Hustle TV? We might as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, the people have spoken, so we have to unlock it. So that's our new web series, man. Matt, we're coming up. It's almost the third birthday of Startup Hustle. We've been doing this for 3 years, dude.
Wow.
I know. And people are still listening, apparently. And for those of you, you know what? Thank you to anybody that listens. There's a lot of things that anyone and everyone can do with their time. So if you choose it to pay attention to what we're doing, thank you. Also, one of the things is make sure you check out the shows with the new hosts we added this year. Lauren and Andrew are killing it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback from people. Had a couple people reach out actually inquiring about Full Scale that had been listening to Lauren specifically. I don't think they want like us. But yeah. So, with that, we've had a plan for a while to record a web series. And what does that even mean? We're in the process. We know a lot of interesting people. Is that fair to say, Matt?
Absolutely.
And entrepreneurship is a different story for everyone. Is that true?
Everybody's unique, for sure.
Right. And it's not easy.
Oh, come on. It's easy.
For you, it is. Watson's like Midas. He touches stuff and it just turns into gold.
It turns into hard work.
True. And that's part of it though. With our web series, it's, we've used the tagline, the real story of entrepreneurship. And that's really what we want to show is that it is hard work and that it occurs differently through the different lenses of different people. So starting in January, we will begin publishing episodes of Startup Hustle, and they come in two forms. We have a primary episode, which will be similar to like a docu type series. Those will be more about people. And we have a lot of great people lined up. And with that, we still have over 300 to review. So, dude, in the first 2 weeks, over 300 people went to startuphustle.xyz and filled out the form to be on the show. How about that?
That's insane.
It's awesome too. Now, by the way, Matt, there's a couple things. One, don't ever start your own TV show. It's a lot of work. Second off, I'm just amazed at that because when you do, and then you get what you want, which is people to register. Now you're like, wow, I got to go through 300 and they're coming in every day. That was the count like a while ago. I quit counting because every day we get between 5 and 15 people that fill out that form, which is crazy. So yeah, here's the thing is entrepreneurship, it comes in all these different shapes and forms. And it's not just about one industry. And Startup Hustle TV is going to all industries, all locations. And I've got some amazing people lined up from all over the country. And we're going to have people, different entrepreneurs doing different things that want to tell their story the way that it's occurring. And that matters. And the goal is to give you a real look at it. Now, we also will be publishing a secondary episode or a supporting episode so the primary episodes, like our wives, girlfriends, husbands, boyfriends, anyone should find those interesting. because they're not going to stop for a 5-minute segment about what venture capital is, because my wife would change the channel and yours would too. Right. So we're going to, but we have so much content planned and coming in that there will be a secondary episode that'll be fun. So we have some things that involve some initial interviews for the people that are going to be involved. We're going to ask the same questions from a lot of different people, so we can also present different points of view about stuff. I mean, overall, man, it's like, I don't know. So we'll have 40 primary episodes and then a support episode for each in 2021, and planning on doing it past that. But let's get through year one. But yeah, and Matt Watson. So you're the other Matt when
That's
I talk
fine.
about you, but I'm the other Matt when people talk to you. So that kind of makes us one and the same. But yeah, we're going to make Watson probably perform feats of strength, athleticism, because those are your strong points, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm very athletic and flexible.
If you were I feel if you were a video game character, your avatar would just be the power line and athletic line would just be chalked all the way full. It's like you're like the 100 out of 100 for speed, strength, agility,
yeah,
and magic.
Yes.
For sure. And then to balance that out, you're like a 20 on like pretty much anything else. So, yeah. And startups, we'll give you a 10. We'll give you 100 out of 100. And yeah, Matt, I don't know if I've ever told you this. I'm a really big fan of your early work. Your first startup was amazing. Talk about goofy shit that people say. Anyway, so yeah, you want to be on a TV show?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
So I realized how fat I've gotten during the pandemic as I've watched some of the stuff we've already filmed. So
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I appreciate that. I'm getting sensitive about it. All right. So back to what we were talking about. Matt, how many pitches did you give before successfully finding an investor?
I think I answered 25 on that. But I think
you did. You did. Wait, did you?
I think I did. Oh, yeah, I did.
Yes. Oh, yes. You were. Yes. You were 25 plus.
Yeah.
Even 25. You're like, hey, man, more than 25.
I mean, that's what I answered, maybe. But I think more serious. I think maybe 10 to 25, more legit. But I mean, it's like nobody realizes it's a full-time job. I mean,
dude, that's why episode 2.
It's a numbers game.
That's why episode 2 is titled "Getting Funded Sucks." Now, by the way, if you want to get funded, you got to have your payroll and accounting and every stuff, all that straightened out. Which is a quick reminder and thanks to Gusto and Matt, will you thank Gusto? Let's be polite.
Yeah, Gusto. Thank you so much for sponsoring today.
For powering this episode. They do payroll, benefits, onboarding. Onboarding's tough, man. Onboarding new employees is a challenge, but as a small business owner, paying and taking care of your team, it's tough.
Sounds like a lot of shit I don't even want to think about. So if they can help,
we're going to get to some of that because that's coming up here on the poll. But all right, so 25 or more pitches. So the options were 1, 2 to 5, 6 to 10, and 11 to 25, and then 25 plus. What do you think the winner was?
I'm going to say 11 to 25.
It was 6 to 10
right,
by a 2-to-1 margin. So yeah,
Liar.
So eight votes for. I kind of wanted to say that myself. Well, here 2 people said 1, and I'd like to have both of them on the show to understand how.
I mean, just because they pitched the rich uncle and they all said yes, that doesn't count.
True. All right, so this is the one I've been waiting for, really quite a bit. So, all right, which of the following do you like doing the least at your business? Here's your options, Matt. Accounting. You don't answer. You can't answer because you already know. I know that I'm giving away the answer. Spoiler alert. HR stuff, organizing workflows, customer service, or sales and marketing.
It's there's a few things in there.
You can only vote for one, dude. I hate I hate most of the list. I don't mind sales and marketing. What's your choice?
What were they again? HR, accounting,
Hold, please. Hold,
right.
please. Hang on. You're demanding a recount. Accounting, HR stuff,
Yes.
organizing workflows, customer
Yes.
service, or sales and marketing.
It's definitely got to be accounting and HR. So thank you, Gusto, for making
Get one vote, dude. Voter fraud.
I can't vote Gusto then.
You're voting for Gus. Well, accounting ran away with this one. Yeah. 21 and then 5 for HR, and basically no one else got a vote. Andrew voted for customer service. That was so. There you go. One person said sales and marketing. There's our friends. That was Kyle over at KC Hemp. Do you still use their CBD products?
No.
We'll have to get you some more of them. So, well, in regards to that, taking care of employees, it's never been more important. And for years, Gusto has been helping more than 100,000 small business owners run payroll, other benefits, onboard new employees, and more. Now, I mentioned onboarding like earlier, dude, that's tough. And payroll should be like out of sight, out of mind. And that's what I love about services like Gusto. I mean, seriously, because, dude, like, you don't want to deal with that. There's like tax issues and other stuff. And, it's just, now they call their platform the people platform, and it doesn't just look nice. It actually works. So you talk about, it's like your payroll taxes are filed, deductions are calculated, your team gets paid. You can even offer health insurance, 401. Now, here's a great thing. If you actually use them, go to their site, go to gusto.com/startup hustle. There's a link in the show notes. If you do a first payroll because you're a Startup Hustle listener, they're going to give you 3 months for free. And I'm into that.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, dude, all that stuff sucks at any business. Like, I mean,
it's all different.
I want to do.
Yeah. And it's all different now because everybody works remote. You don't exactly
let's talk about that. And that's why having an expert matters. So, like, let's talk. So, our businesses were in Kansas, the state of Kansas, and we were right there. Now, Kansas has this weird imaginary line down the middle that separates Kansas and Missouri. It's called a state line. Apparently that's what that is. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but if you're on one side of it or the other, you have different rules and taxes. So explain how that kind of messed with why the mystery that created when people started working remote.
Well, for COVID, it caused a bunch of problems. At Stackify, we had like 13 employees in Kansas and 13 in Missouri. So now all of a sudden, the people that work from home are like, why do I pay Kansas taxes now? Because I work from home. So,
right.
Yeah, payroll is fun. And also think about hiring somebody new. You don't exactly send them down to the HR department to fill out paperwork anymore.
That's why the onboarding thing, so you just talk about like a startup, like, dude, when you have 4 people, you don't have an HR person, like, and that's like, we've talked a lot about like fractional things. And, being able to do that is big, just cause like, and the thing is just the ease of use. So most people don't realize this, but there's all these like little weird taxes and things you need to pay. If your payroll gets to a certain point, you have to start submitting portions of the tax, sometimes daily, sometimes a couple times a week. And like, I don't know, man, it's just not, that's something I never want in-house.
Well, think about this. We're all remote now, so we're thinking about hiring somebody. And what if that person lives in Idaho? Like,
right?
What do we got to do special for people that live in Idaho? I don't know. So
you have to find one of the 3 people that live in Idaho, and then hire them.
Whole different world with this remote stuff is my point.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but having an expert that can actually answer those questions is important, man. And that's, and like, I don't know. It's like, so dude, if you look at the amount of tax and like just general legal changes that occur related to businesses in every state is volumes every year. And like, you just can't keep up with it, man. Especially as a startup. All right. So I like this next question, but wait, for the next question or there wasn't even a yes or no, dude.
For all the things to fix. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. By the way, for everyone listening, this is the shit that I go through with Watson. Cause like I say, you can pick one and then he picks 3 or 2 or none and never exactly following instructions, which is what HR wants you to do, Matt. I'm going to report you. Okay. I like this next question. Which of the following traits is the most important to you when hiring at your company? Now you only get to pick one. 1, drive. dependability, communication, experience, or caring? Once again, drive, dependability, communication, experience, or caring.
I'm going to go with caring.
Interesting.
I like that one.
Okay, so my vote is drive. I think that if I have someone with energy that's driven to get stuff done, I've got something to work with. I'd rather have more of that than not enough, because it's hard to flip around, which is, by the way, is what ran away with the vote here. We got a lot of votes on this one. 29. Next was dependability, 14. Communication was 6, and experience and caring both got 2 votes. You basically voted for the libertarian of all in that state. So,
well, I think they were all good qualities.
Okay, but I'm gonna actually side with your position here, because I've said this a lot. Caring is something you can't train.
Well, if you think
likability,
if you think about software development and you think about what Full Scale does, right? Caring about what we do for our clients is really important. We need employees that actually give a shit about doing a good job and caring about the quality of work they perform, right? And
it's untrainable. That's one of the things. Now, here's the thing: but so is drive.
Yeah.
You can teach someone to become dependable. You can improve someone's communication skills. Experience, you either have it or you don't.
Yep.
And so we actually had it. Well, we're talking in the non-presidential version, and some people said things like, and we're not going to get into our political opinions, but they said Biden had been in office for 20% of the time of the U.S. has been in existence. Now, in some cases, that would be a big notch for hiring, because some people want that significant experience. Now, in some cases, experience is also not great, because I think it's misjudged.
You learned how to do everything the wrong way, man.
Or only one way. So you can become institutionalized. And I've talked to our own recruitment, because sometimes they'll say, well, this person worked at this company for 15 years. And my response is always make sure they know how to do stuff more ways than one.
Yeah.
Because it's just what happens when you move that person's cheese.
Yep,
you never know what you're going to get. So yeah, I think drive. I think if you have energy and you get stuff like drive, well, I'm a driven person, so maybe I'm also liking myself, but so there was a couple comments here, actually. So John Rake, what's up, John? He said, I hired my first employee almost entirely on dependability, personality, and culture fit. It was clear I could pick either culture or expertise from my candidate pool, but I'd rather educate and mold someone as opposed to dealing with culture clashes forever. I think he has a couple good points there, and that's where caring comes in, because you can't train it.
Right.
You really can't train someone to care. They do or they don't. It's very binary there. And then our friend Jackie McCarthy. Hi, Jackie. She actually said autonomy, problem solving, and be able to voice concerns and contribute thought. Now, at Full Scale, that's a big thing for us, because we talk about critical thinking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So, I think there's some really good points there. So, the results on that doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
I think a lot of people that are like, God, what do I need to do to motivate my staff? So, guess what, Matt? There's more.
Okay.
We have more questions. We're getting there. We got to be near the bottom. At some point, I have no idea how many polls I put in here. So we're getting there. All right. This is a good question. In 2021, what will your business do in regards to office space? So your options here are need to find some or need to get rid of some. What do you think the answer was here?
I think the answer was actually need to get some.
Is that what you thought the answer would be?
No, it's not at all.
That was the answer, but I too thought that need to get rid of some was going to win in a landslide, and it didn't. It lost 11-7. Which, honestly, and then a couple of people said, like my buddy JW Powell in Asheville, North Carolina, said, staying put, but I'm thinking, do I really need an office this size?
Yeah.
That's why I think, because a lot of people I've talked to have been in that camp. They're saying, like, do I need this much space? Well, you went through it. So, Stackify's all 100% virtual.
100% remote. And I saw something that said Silicon Valley occupancy rate, like the amount of empty offices is doubled what it used to be. So the percentage
did you see what Pinterest did? So Pinterest had this, like, they were building like a megaplex for Pinterest in the Valley. And I mean, like 5 buildings like clustered into a campus or something like that. So Pinterest paid $50 million to break the lease on that before it was done being constructed.
Yeah.
Like, and I really thought that was a signal flare for a lot of things. Like, wow. Now, some businesses don't have that option though. Like, I mean, you can transfer code around the world with the push of a button, and that's not always the case. So yeah, I was, one person said, keeping overhead down. So just no space at all, just meaning like, I'm not doing either. Yeah. My buddy, Al, what's up, Al? Alan Waby up in Chicago. He said he needs a 3rd office. So yeah, so a lot of people are growing, and one person said more virtual space. That's not what we meant. So, okay. So, all right, now we're going to move on. I really like this next question. Before we talk about it, I do want to once again thank Ousto, one of our newest sponsor partners here, and that's enabling us to do a lot of great stuff. But running a startup, it's hard work. So fortunately, Ousto makes the payroll part easy. On top of that, they offer flexible benefits, simple onboarding, and so much more. And right now, listeners get 3 months for free. So go to gusto.com/startup hustle. Once again, gusto.com/startup hustle. I'm there right now. They got a great site. That's great. That's a great business. I do know a lot of people that have said great stuff about them. So, okay. Dun, 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 dun. I got to be getting close to the end here, but all right. In 2021, where will you spend the majority of your marketing budget? Here are your choices, Matt. Ooh. Blog and content creation, social media advertising, trade shows or industry events, mail or print materials, or content creation and video. Now, I know there's a little overlap there. I kind of left that. Someone added that at the end. All right. What do you think won? Well, what's your choice? In 2021, where's your money go?
Content creation, blogging, content creation, blogging.
Yeah. But Stackify and the stuff we do together it does a lot of that. And we have, we've had a lot of success.
Absolutely.
Been doing it for 10 years here, a bunch of different businesses. And, that's kind of a tipping my cap. Here we go. Really, I think in real life there.
I think
Matt, you did a great job. When I first met you, we were met at a breakfast place, and you were telling me about how you were tired of spending money on CP, cost per click ads, and you had a content strategy for blogging that you thought would really be effective. Now, later I ended up, you were in my book, $1 Million Bedroom. We became friends, then later did this podcast, and then started businesses together and everything. But that really worked out for you. I mean, expand on that for a second.
Well, yeah, Stackify has like hundreds of blog posts and drives close to 1 million people a month to our website. So yeah, content marketing really has been the driver, our primary go-to-market strategy for a long time. So it's been huge for us. And
but let me repeat that: 1
million
or above 1 million organic visits a month. And so ask yourself this, people: what would 1 million visits to your website a month do? And congrats, it's significant. And and that's a lot, man. And we did for the full scale site, and the blogs we published there have been on fire too. Not 1 million a month, but
when you start thinking about 1 million, you're like, how many damn software developers are there? Like, that's a lot of people, right?
Yep. The key is that creating quality stuff that's useful, and you guys really do that. I mean, meaningful articles.
I think when you talk about advertising today, and I know social media is a big one, I really think advertising on TikTok is going to be a big deal for a lot of people. Yeah,
I agree. Now back to the poll. What do you think won? Blog creation, social media, trade shows / industry events, or mail and print?
It's probably social media.
It's not. It was blog and content by a lot. 14 votes. Social media was 8. I honestly thought social media would win as well. I thought it would be the other way around, because honestly, I don't see a lot of people creating content and blogs. Like, you see the same people doing it, but not a lot. So one thing that I was surprised was to even see 4 votes for trade shows and industry events, like, because they're still uncertain.
For certain industries, if you're reaching certain enterprise buyers that, go to certain trade shows every year, and that's where you reach them,
Yeah. So 2 votes for mail and print materials, one of which was once again Stephen Ford from Penco, because he'll send the pens out.
Mm-hmm. That works for his business.
We've talked about those pens a lot. They are awesome. Although my daughter stole all of mine. So, okay. Crucial question, and this is nearing the end, I believe. How excited would you be if your business could be on a web series similar to what we're doing on Startup Hustle TV?
Really excited.
You're voting for yes?
Yes.
Okay. That ran away with it, 24-1. So the options were stoked. When can I start? That got 24 votes. And then the other one was only if we could show the good parts. Because that's something that I've talked to. Well, people have asked me that, dude. I've been talking to so many people about this, and people, I tell everyone, I'm like, look, if you're not willing to talk about the failure, then you're not being real.
That's a big
part
not being real.
So that, and we want it. Like if you're gonna cry, but we've all cried. You don't care about your business until you've cried about it at least once. Is that fair?
Absolutely, yes.
Or came really damn close. So and then the next option was maybe but not sure or no way, which each got no votes. So now if you want, there's no submission deadline for Startup Hustle TV. I don't like that. You got to have it in by November 15th. Like, so you go to startuphustle.xyz. Have you seen the new website for that? It looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. It's your face on it. You know what? So the first version, they didn't have your face on it. And I said, this is terrible. And then they showed me another one with you on it. And I was like, it's perfect.
Is my face bigger than yours?
No, but it should be. Because your head is certainly bigger than mine right now. But I'm going to actually use Gusto to do some accounting stuff to calculate the size of your head, Matt. So
perfect.
All right. How much cheaper do you think digital advertising will be after the election? Here's your options. It'll be the same: 10%, 20%, 30, or 40% less.
I'll say 10%.
Okay, I voted for, is that your vote?
That's my vote.
Your vote is 10%. My vote was 30% less. Keep in mind that when you're advertising digitally, whether it's Google search or anything else, you're in an auction.
Yep.
So all those election ads drive up the price because they are trying to always be on top, and they have fat budgets. So, so 30% less, won with 12 votes. 40% less was next with 10 votes. 20% less had 2. It'll be the same, 1 vote. Now, look, I actually have some science here. So our own promo for the show did go down 25 to 30%. So it happened. All right. Am I out of polls, Matt? Am I out of polls? So, and I might be. So, once again, I've been putting these into the Startup Hustle chat. We want to see you come join us. Like we're having meaningful discussions about a lot of things. It's not spammy. It's topic oriented.
Go to Facebook and search Startup Hustle chat, right?
That's it. Just Startup Hustle. You'll find the page. Dude, I can't, thank you so much for everyone that's following, and continues. 3rd birthday coming up, 500th episode.
Wow.
Which I'm debating whether I want that to be all about Matt Watson or Matt Watson.
Well,
what's your vote on that?
It's sad we couldn't do it in an arena because of the coronavirus restrictions. So
with those 2 options, it's also sad we couldn't find a better candidate. So, which is okay. As mentioned, I'm a big fan of your early work, which is all right. Now, so out of all these polls, Matt, did any of them surprise you? Did any I know we had a couple that were a little off, but.
No,
I had one that surprised me. It was normal. I had one that surprised me. It was our band startups. I thought more people would say no. Weird. I thought more people would say no, and that was in the 90% range. Past that, I really found putting these polls up to be informative. It's very interesting to see what the real people that are doing it. I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna continue putting new ones up. What's a poll? Matt, do you have a poll you'd like to put up? Let's do this. Who is your favorite podcast host? And then we'll put Matt or Matt.
There we go. I like that one. And Lauren.
And see. Well, if we put Lauren in, then we're both going to lose. I mean,
we got to rig this election. That's for sure.
Yeah. So by the way, I already tried to create that poll, and Facebook won't let you because they're trying to prevent you from being dumb and putting the same answer in twice. So yeah, so there you go on that one. Do you have a poll you'd like to ask? Like, what would you like to ask our listeners?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one.
Which means that we will have Matt's poll somewhere around 2022. So you're working on that. One other thing on our way out here, let's talk about this because this would be fun. We are going to do a 52-part series on how to start a tech company.
I'm excited about that. I'm excited to learn so much from you.
Well, with that, we're going back to for that, which will be weekly all of next year or close to weekly. It'll start with the first episode of Startup Hustle TV, which will have more than one episode. I did leak that just now, but there's so much that I want to talk about on that. But I also, Matt and I have talked a lot, and you took a little break from this for a little bit, largely because I overbooked us for 2 months, and I was like, dude, I'm not going to make you record all these. But we've been wanting to go back to. So our brand standard and format is 2 people now, and rather than 3, and that had a lot to do with some of the format changes. But you and I have wanted to kind of go back to that original gangster status of the Matt and Matt. And I'll make you one promise about that series is we are going to tell you without a frickin' filter how it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, we're coming up on the 500th episode.
That's crazy.
Dude, I know. It's a good thing Matt was on a lot of them.
Do we get like a platinum record or like a special plaque or something?
I do have that platinum record that, remember, we used to have it on the wall. It was completely unrelated to anything we'd ever done, but it looked good. And people would walk in and be like, look at it. And they'd be like, what is this? It's a platinum record, man. That's when you do that, you ask, it's a platinum record. You just kind of shuffle it off. But yeah, so, that series is going to cover a lot of stuff and do a lot of things. And I'm excited about it. We had talked about doing something like that for a really long time. And then we got our shit together. So now we can actually do it. But yeah, so you and I, we're going to do a weekly, man. And I'm looking forward to that because I miss you, Matt. I miss you.
I miss you too, man. I'm really excited to do that. It's going to be fun.
Get this pandemic out of the way and we can open a studio again. So, hey man, well, thanks for everyone that has continued to put in on these polls. We're going to keep throwing them out. I want to continue doing this. We have some interesting, I didn't even see, dude, you got to have some call outs. So the live chat, I always forget about this. We have this new technology. This is funny. Okay. So of all the people that listened, what do you think the live stream viewers were actually commenting on? Which poll?
The chicken wings.
Yep. Flats, boneless wangs. Not touching that one. So anyway, Matt, now that we know everything we need to know and we have committed to a 52-week series, I should probably start working on that. So
we got some planning.
See you next time, dude.